Good evening. Glad that you are watching your channel of choice on the news tonight. Tonight, Kenya Kwanza coalition backs plan to create a powerful office for the opposition leader. Will the plan end the hostility between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga? Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's joy after top national leadership offered to intervene in her woes is short-lived as MCAs table new motion of impeachment.
Tabling the motion today, it is because we have a dictatorial government that is not even allowing us to oversight, because it is our role and it is our duty to oversight.
Family of a Kenyan woman killed along her daughters in the US seeks answers.
In fact, the neighborhood was about like 10% blacks. They were well off, that's what I can say. And in fact, they were in the process of starting their own healthcare company.
The tragic incident coming just weeks after they had buried their father. Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter. Good evening. I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Tonight, local farmers will breathe a sigh of relief after President William Ruto's cabinet resolved to give local producers priority over suppliers of imported maize. As Mike Agwongo now reports, President William Ruto's cabinet has also donated a total of 17 million shillings to the National Drought Mitigation Appeal Fund to aid in the escalating drought situation in the country.
President William Ruto's cabinet secretaries meeting provided a reprieve for Kenyan farmers after the team resolved to give local producers priority over suppliers of imported maize. The cabinet noted that as harvesting of maize was ongoing across the country, this year's crop estimated to yield about 30 million bags of maize. In a statement, the executive said in honor of our nation's sacred duty to its farmers, the farmers' produce will be accorded priority access to the market. With a consumption trend of 45 million bags, the cabinet secretaries resolved to cover the deficit by importing 10 million bags of maize. The importation by the private sector will commence in February 2023 and shall be incentivized by way of a custom duty waiver. The cabinet further gave its contribution to the ongoing drought response appeal by transmitting its salary for the month of November to the drought relief kitty. More than 17 million shillings had been transferred to the response kitty. The decision by the cabinet to forego its salary was arrived at during its third session, held on November 29, 2022, when it was appraised of the drought situation in the country. As part of the long-term measures to address the devastating effects of climate change, the desertification cabinet approved the National Tree Growing Restoration Campaign. The tree growing campaign targets to mobilize the nation in planting 15 million trees by the year 2030, translating to 30% national tree cover. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has requested Azimio la Umoja Party leader Raila Odinga to provide a schedule of the planned demonstrations in order to provide the coalition with security. Raila and his supporters are to hold a public consultative forum at Kamkunji grounds on Wednesday, as well as parallel Jamhuri Day celebrations at Jacaranda Gardens.
As the Azimio One Kenya coalition leader Raila Odinga and his supporters plan for a public consultative meeting at Kamkunji grounds tomorrow, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has guaranteed them of security during the anti-government meetings on Wednesday, December 7th and on Monday, December 12th.
That the government will not be engaged in any obstruction or resistance of people who want to lawfully picket, demonstrate, or assemble. We are on high alert and we are fully engaged to ensure no Kenyan limits the rights of another Kenyan who is not participating in this activity by way of trying to interfere with their businesses, their activities, or their peace.
Kindiki says the ministry is not interested in disrupting the meeting, as that would infringe the organizers' rights under Article 37 of the Constitution, which provides that every person has a right to demonstrate and to present petitions to public authorities.
Freedom of assembly and association, including the freedom to demonstrate and picket, is a fundamental right and enshrined in the Constitution of our country.
Kindiki has since asked Odinga to provide schedules for the planned meetings so that they can be provided with security.
We will not politicize the matter. We don't want to be drawn into political discussions around the matter. We will remain professional to make sure that those who want to air their grievances are given space so that others who don't agree with them do not interrupt bona fide and lawful activities around demonstrations and the freedoms of association and assembly.
His sentiments come just a day after President William Ruto instructed him to deploy enough security as the opposition carries out its protest. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga has since clarified that the meetings are nationwide public consultative forums and not demonstrations as had been interpreted by some Kenyans.
Mapambano, bado mapamba.
Flora Limuki, TV 47.
Moving on, 50 armed groups from DRC that attended the third inter-Congolese peace talks in Nairobi on Tuesday have agreed to lay down their arms in a bid to end the conflict that has claimed thousands of lives. This even as the death toll in last week's attack has risen to 300 according to Congo government officials. Stanley Nyaringita has more.
The curtains have come down for the third inter-Congolese peace talks on the ongoing unrest in the eastern DRC, with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is also the East African Community's lead facilitator of the DRC peace process, expressing optimism that the delegation has achieved milestones in brokering peace.
Tumesema tumeapeleka kwa viongozi wa Afrika Mashariki, na ndivyo hivyo vikundi viweze kuongea na serikali zao, warudi makwao, wawache wa Kongo kwa amani.
Among the resolutions made after the week-long consultations between armed groups, civil society groups and victims of sexual violence is to have a continued cessation of hostilities.
And at the same time, they all are ready to continue participating to the PDDRCS program, which is a program of disarmament, demobilization, reintegration into our communities and stabilization.
But more than 1,500 kilometers away in eastern town of Kishishe in DRC, the residents do not share the optimism as they mourn at least 300 people who were killed in a massacre last week. Congo's government has so far blamed the M23 rebel group, which has denied responsibility. This even as Uhuru noted that he was optimistic that the M23 group will honor the requirements of the Luanda process, among them ending current hostilities and exiting from Rutshuru, Kiwanja and Managana before he can meet them.
Kwa hivyo wakitimiza, hawa pia na wale ambao ni wa Kongo watajumuishwa kwa shughuli za amani za nchi ya Kongo.
The former president also noted that despite the EAC carrying its mandate of bringing back the peace, the Congolese nationals will have to do the heavy lifting of maintaining the peace. The next stop will be Goma for the next phase of the talks to be held next year between January and February. Stanley Nyaringita, TV 47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, President William Ruto has gazetted the appointment of 20 High Court judges. The gazettement comes days after the Judicial Service Commission submitted a list of 20 successful High Court judges to the President for appointment. The appointees now await their swearing in. The incorporation of the 20 more judges will bring to 86 the total number of High Court judges. Well, today marks the end of campaign mode for 11 Bungoma senatorial by-election candidates who are yearning to replace former Senator Moses Wetangula, who is the National Assembly Speaker. According to data from IEBC register, over 600,000 voters from all the 9 constituencies in the county are expected to elect their second governor on December 8th.
It has been a very competitive period for 11 Bungoma senatorial candidates approved by IEBC as they sold their agenda to the Bungoma County electorate. UDF Lakabera Mambo Mabonga has the backing of former MP Lawrence Sifuna for the race.
Nashukuru sana Mheshimiwa Lawrence kukubali na hata ya kwamba utasimama nami katika hii kura ambayo inakuja. Ametupa sababu za kutosha. Bungoma inahitaji mlinzi mwenye amekomaa, kwa maana Bungoma ni kaunti kubwa na Bungoma inahitaji kuwa katikati ya serikali ili yale yote ambayo rais aliahidi apate kutekeleza kwa watu wetu.
Huyu kijana yangu wa Munyinyi si mbaya, lakini wacha akae nyumbani akule kidogo pension yake. Ameshatosha pension. Na yule mwingine aongoje kidogo akue MCA labda kidogo.
For the Kenya flag bearer Wafula Wakoli, who enjoys the support of former Senator Moses Wetangula, pitched tent in Kandui constituents, Webuye West and Mount Elgon constituencies.
I want to take this opportunity to encourage the voters of Bungoma to turn out in large numbers, determined to protect our forte, to protect our territory against the onslaughts of our adversaries.
Mtapigia kura huyu kijana yetu huyu David Wafula Wakoli. Mjumbe yenu akikuja mwambie aende polepole, mmempigia kura agae hapo, mwambie wa viongozi wengi wa Bungoma wako nyuma ya David Wafula Wakoli. Siko namna hiyo.
Sisi kama chama cha Fort Kenya tuko na heshima. Ingawaje tuko na viongozi ambaye tungesimamisha katika chama cha Fort Kenya Elgeyo Marakwet, tumesema kwa heshima ya uhusiano mwema wa Kenya kwanza, hatujaweka candidate huko.
Former Kandui MP Wafula Wamunyinyi, who served for 20 years as a legislator, completed his campaign at Poster Grounds in Bungoma town.
Tunahitaji senator ula ataenda kuuliza William Ruto, wewe uliahidi gharama ya maisha itarudi chini, bei ya unga itarudi chini.
Kenya kwanza cannot oversight Kenya kwanza. That is why we need mtu wa azimio, mtu wa nguvu kama Wamunyinyi to go and oversight serikali ya Kenya kwanza ya hapa Bungoma.
The Battle of Titans is expected to be between Kenya Kwanza candidates and Azimio One Kenya Alliance. The race also attracted a 23-year-old youth, Aaron Wafula, who will fly the Republican Liberty Party flag.
Tumebambanya nao majitu haya ya siasa na tunauhakika tumefanya bora.
Others include Geoffrey Wanyonyi of Nopio Party, Elias Baraso of People's Empowerment Party, Robert Sifuna of Roots, Frederick Simiyu on a Vibrant Democratic Party ticket, as well as Enoch Makoha, Julius Masinde and Raidon Munoko, who will vie as independent candidates. Wanji Sosti, TV47, Bungoma.
Thank you, Wanji Sostin, for that report. Bungoma County heads to the ballot on the 8th of December for the senatorial by-election. Remember, this was necessitated by the appointment and the subsequent election of the then Senator of Bungoma County, Moses Masika Wetangula, to the National Assembly Speaker position. Moving on. The High Court has allowed an application by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, to withdraw Top Cohen's murder case against Sarah Wairimu and her co-accused Peter Karanja. This is after the court found that the objections raised by Cohen's family had not merited and were dismissed on the same. Paul Kirobi reports.
After years in the corridors of justice and police custody, Sarah Wairimu can now breathe a sigh of relief. A ruling by Judge Daniel Ogembo now gives a leeway for the case to be heard through an inquest at a Chief Magistrate Court to provide an opportunity for the parties to present any information that had not explored substantial evidence before the court and the investigations earlier conducted by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Lawyer representing the accused Sarah Wairimu, Philip Murgor, now wants every person involved in the case be investigated over the matter.
Going forward, Sarah would like to appeal to anyone involved in the inquest to ensure that the investigations are expanded to include everyone who was involved in manipulating and falsifying evidence, and of course, those who claim to have an interest in her co-owned matrimonial property. Every motive must be thoroughly investigated.
The High Court allowed an application by the Director of Public Prosecution DPP Nurdin Haji to withdraw Top Cohen's murder case against Sarah Wairimu and her co-accused Peter Karanja. Judge Ogembo noted that the objections raised by Cohen's family had no merit and dismissed the same. The judge noted that the DPP did not act in bad faith or violated his mandate as enshrined under Article 157(1) and 9 of the Constitution when he sought to have the case withdrawn and the matter be heard through an inquest. Sarah Wairimu says they have been together with her late husband for almost 30 years before he died.
For 30 years. And you cannot tell me that I did not exist. You can't tell me that we didn't have a life together. And we have always been the envy, especially of those two, one Habri Van Straten and what's his name? Bernard Cohen. Bernard. So I lovingly, and as I have always been very open with them, I'll tell them to just hold their horses.
Sarah, together with Mr. Karanja, were charged with the tycoon's murder in October 2019. They denied the offense. Cohen's family had opposed the withdrawal on grounds that the DPP failed to give any written reasons and that their rights under Victims Act 2014 had been violated. Their objection was based on Section 23(1) of the Act. The tycoon Top Cohen had been reported missing on July 2019, but the Directorate of Criminal Investigations detectives failed to locate him until his body was discovered in a septic tank at his compound in Kitisuru, Spring Valley, Nairobi. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Paul Kirobi, for that. Tonight, Azimio Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga hands President William Ruto his first leadership test when he plans to stage his inaugural major protest against the Kenya Kwanza regime dubbed Kamkunji Consultative Forum. Odinga's anti-government campaign is seen as a relevant test for him politically, while for President Ruto, his response on how he manages Odinga compared to his predecessor will be under the spotlight. Our senior political affairs reporter Paulo Kamau reports.
When he holds his first formal public protest against President William Ruto in just 4 months since the president won the election, Azimio Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga will be taking a political gamble on his political career as he puts his former ally turned foe since the Kanu days, President Ruto, to test while testing the political waters on his political charm, a case of two political schemers out to outsmart each other.
He's a student of Moi in many ways. He's also a student of Raila. Don't forget that. Yeah, so he's got two teachers. And he outsmarted Moi. That's why the Moi family was thrown out. Because he outsmarted his teacher. Raila is also his teacher. And he outsmarted him in getting elected. The question is whether the teacher has found new ammunition to fix the student. And whether the student is also ready for that likelihood.
Wednesday's Kamukunji meet premised on Odinga's protest of a stolen election victory and the ongoing cleanup at the Electoral Commission IEBC is a recurring script, according to political pundits and Kenya Kwanza opponents, which may make or build him politically.
The question that comes up is the whole country, how does the whole country take it? If the impression created is that Raila is back to his rabble-rousing ways. So Kamkunji will be just another rabble-rousing event. And so he has to be careful to avoid that.
President William Ruto, unlike his predecessors, has stuck to his guns in that he will not allow the political path taken by his successors by going for a handshake with Odinga.
Sasa tumemshinda. Ameanza lugha ya maandamano. Na nia yake ni ile ile. Ati auzie huyu rais wetu woga, ati aitwe kwa handshake. Inawezekana? Inawezekana?
Presidents Daniel Moi, Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta have all been forced by Odinga to incorporate him into their administrations through notable handshakes. Could this be Odinga's search for another handshake, and how will Ruto manage him?
Raila is a very hard-working man. He's a good schemer, better than Kalonzo, and better than a lot of other people. Only that he has to be better than Ruto.
The four are being forced out because William Ruto and the Uda administration want a clean slate at the IBC and fill it with his stooges and henchmen for the 2027 elections.
Odinga's double-edged sword in his anti-government campaign has also cast light on his core principal Kalonzo Musyoka, who harbors 2027 political ambitions. The Kenya Kwanza Parliamentary Caucus has adopted a resolution to create the office of the official opposition leader, seen as an attack to tame Raila, despite the alliance disputing the claim. All eyes will be watching Odinga on whether he can sustain the momentum, with another public consultative forum expected to coincide with Jamhuri Day. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Elsewhere, the Senate Health Committee today toured Kenyatta National Hospital to unravel the turn of events that led to the death of a 2-year-old Travis Maina, who was rushed to the facility with a fork jembe lodged in his skull. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the Kenyatta National Hospital management, through its CEO, has dismissed claims of negligence.
The Senate Health Committee today made a courtesy visit at the Kenyatta National Hospital to unravel what happened during the 14-hour period after the late 2-year-old Travis Maina was admitted to the facility with a fork jembe lodged in his skull. According to Kenyatta National Hospital, they received a call from Thika Level 5 Hospital on Monday the 10th of October at 3:55 p.m. requesting for the late Travis referral. The late Travis Maina arrived at the Kenyatta National Hospital Accident and Emergency Department at 6 p.m. and was accompanied by 2 emergency medical technicians together with his mother and aunt. Travis was then admitted to the resuscitation room where he was under observation pending registration. After registration, he was reviewed by Dr. Tabu Okinyi, a medical officer and a neurosurgeon. The doctor then requested for various lab tests and a neurosurgical review. Clinical results revealed that Travis was conscious with a fork jembe lodged in his skull, though the handle was missing. At 9:15 p.m., Dr. Okinyi contacted Dr. Patrick Akuku, a senior neurosurgeon who recommended surgery. At 11:10 p.m., the doctors established that there was a problem in Travis' blood clotting system which required correction. 20 minutes later, Professor Mwenda, a senior consultant hematologist, recommended blood transfusion, which commenced at 3 a.m. on the 11th of October and ended at 6 a.m. At 8:30 a.m., an admission request for the late Travis was made at the main theatre, but there was an ongoing operation forcing them to wait for over 4 hours. At 12:30 p.m., all was set for Travis' operation, which was led by Dr. Bore and Dr. Mwili, who successfully removed the fork jembe, but the patient developed complications and succumbed. The Senate Health Committee, however, raised concerns on the amount of time wasted before the operation commenced. On the 8th of November this year, the Senate Health Committee hosted the Kiambu County Government and the Thika Level 5 Hospital Management to pinpoint what transpired when the deceased was admitted at 4 p.m. on the 10th of October. It It was then revealed that the Thika Level 5 hospital lacked enough personnel and vital equipment needed for the procedure and hence decided to transfer him to Kenyatta National Hospital.
Should be able to introspect and have better dialogue on this question of having doctors punctually and available.
The late Travis Miner's mother, Judith Muthoni, has accused the Kenyatta National Hospital of negligence, saying doctors at the facility gave them a cold shoulder since they could not come up with the 20,500 Kenya shillings needed.
Ule daktari nilikuta huko alikuwa tu anapaguza meza. Hata kuangalia mwenye ameingia. Mimi kwangu niliona kama huko Kenyatta wangeshughulika huyo mtoto hangekufa. Juu alikuwa anazungumza vizuri.
The late Travis was laid to rest on the 18th of October in Kilimambogo, Kiambu County. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
The family of Njoki Mushemi, a Kenyan woman killed by her husband in the United States, is in grief again after the deadly incident that wiped a whole family, coming barely a fortnight after the family buried their father. Mwege William tells us that sad story.
Days after the incident took place in the United States and after Southwest Jefferson County Police stated that preliminary investigations pointed to domestic violence that ended in a murder-suicide wiping out a whole family, relatives of the late Njoki Mushemi have come out to speak of the last moments they shared with the late. In Kiamaina village, Kirinyaga County, Moses Mushemi, brother to Njoki Mushemi, recalls the last phone call he had with his sister.
She was even to buy some presents for the kids, Christmas presents. I don't know, some Mac laptop or something. Yeah, and they spoke well, and so we had no idea that this was coming. No idea at all.
Moses, who says he is still in shock after her sister's and his two nephews' death, the girls Andriana Staton, 17 years old, and Brianna Staton, 11 years, and their parents were found dead in their home in Kentucky, just months after visiting the country to attend the burial ceremony of Mushemi's father.
I wish Gary could have talked to me. If there was any issue, I just wish he could have reached out to any one of us, even to me personally. I thought we were close, but now I realize we were not so close. He could have just reached out to me the way he reached out to me when he tried reaching out to her when she was here. But because her WhatsApp line was not on, mine is always on. So he reached out to me and I gave her the local number she was using. And there was not a clue at all, as in something, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. There was nothing.
According to Mushemi, Gary Staton and Njoki Mushemi never had fights and were seen as a model family. Just a few days to the incident, Staton took to Facebook to wish his wife a happy birthday, describing her as the love of his life.
This is a person who used to share even his password and account details with my sister. So they used to operate together. Everything was open about their relationship. By open, I mean honesty, in terms of honesty. You don't see that every day in these modern times. And
Moses described his sister as a hard-working and loving mother with a family that everyone would dream of having. Her death and that of her daughters, he says, has caught the family by surprise.
She was very particular with education. Even like funding for private schools for the children. She was very particular with education, as in she wanted the best for everybody.
Njoki met Staton in the United States after landing a job opportunity there. Mwege William, TV47.
Now, over 3.5 million children will be out of school in January 2023 when schools reopen due to the ongoing drought. According to a report released by Save the Children, more than 2 million children aged between 4 and 17 years have been out of school since the third term of 2021. And as Andrin Kilemi now reports, an additional 1.6 million children are at a high risk of dropping out of school next year as the hunger crisis worsens.
As drought continues to ravage parts of the country, its effects on livelihoods continue to worsen as school-going children now stare at the danger of dropping out of schools.
They ate their fullest, yes.
According to a report released Tuesday by Save the Children, an international non-governmental organization that supports children, over 3.5 million children will not resume schools in January next year following the unceasing drought. The report further revealed that more than 2 million children aged between 4 to 17 years have been out of school since third term of 2021, with an additional 1.6 million children reported to be at a high risk of dropping out of schools. Among the worst affected counties is Mandera, which registered the highest number of dropouts of 297,470 children aged between 4 to 17 years. Garissa follows with 289,410, Wajir at 266,540, Turkana at 253,640, then Marsabit at 107,600. Among the key reasons for high school dropout were highlighted as inadequate or lack of school meals, poor learning environment, lack of teachers, dilapidated infrastructure, resource-based conflicts, and climate-related emergencies. This as the cabinet has given its contribution to the ongoing drought response by transmitting its entire salary for the month of November to the Drought Relief Kitty. Through a letter sent to the Secretary of the National Steering Committee on Drought Response, Mr. Muremi Murage, the Secretary to the Cabinet, confirmed that more than 17 million shillings had been transferred to the response kitty. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skill, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
The secret to an instant glow and spotless skin. Acne C10 is a 10% pure vitamin C serum that effectively fades dark spots and clears dark patches. With a unique formulation, it is quickly absorbed deep into the skin to give optimal results. Acne C10, 10% pure vitamin C serum, safe on all skin types.
TV47 and win Lotto. All you need to do is watch TV47 and send 50 shillings to the paybill number 328328, account name TV47 to enter the draw. The more you play, the higher your chances of winning if you send 50 shillings to the paybill number 328328, account name TV47. Win Lotto. Everyone's a winner. Remember, send 50 shillings to the paybill number 328328, account name TV47 and win with with TV47 and win Lotto. This has been authorized by the Betting Control and Licensing Board of Kenya. BCLB number 000885. Play responsibly, not for people under the age of 18.
Do you dream of working in Germany as a health practitioner? Mount Kenya University, through its affiliate, Equip Africa Institute, has partnered with Hochschule Koblenz University of Applied Sciences, Germany, to train you in healthcare assistant for German hospitals. The training, which targets those who have cleared KCSE and have proficiency in German, will be conducted in 2 semesters, with successful candidates being guaranteed apprenticeship and job opportunities in partner German hospitals. January intake is in progress.
It has over 80,000 members, with its presence felt through 10 branches in Kiambu and Nairobi, with an asset base of 4 billion Kenya shillings.
SACCO was founded way back in 1992 by tea farmers.
We decided to change the name from Kiambu Tea Growers SACCO now to SACCO, so that we can be able to bring on board other sectors, civil servants, teachers.
We have the M-banking service. Our members can be able to transact at the comfort of their homes.
We have some in the US, Dubai, in the UK as well.
Tai is the Kiswahili name for eagle. It has focus.
Sikuwa na mashini hata moja, tulikuwa tunaosha na mikono. I was able kupata loan ya kwanza 80,000, nikanunua mashini ya kwanza.
Nilienda nikapewa pesa ya loan, nikanunua ng'ombe, nikaongeza sababu nilikuwa na moja.
SACCO, that year's journey has been a game changer to all our members.
We got 40 million from Tai with easy payment terms. I will not hesitate to recommend Tai to any business person.
Trisent School of Medical Health Science and Technology is a premier training institute for market-driven courses. With state-of-the-art facilities, competent and dedicated members of staff, and linkages with the medical industry, you are assured of a bright future when you study with us. Enroll today in our campuses at Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Kenya's fastest growing television. Let's get to more news. And the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Examination entered day 3 today, with Education Ministry officials supervising the exams in a number of centers. This even as the National Examination Council warned school heads demanding fees from candidates. Collins Lusweti with that report.
Kenya National Examination Council Chief Executive Officer David Njengere earlier today supervised the distribution of examination materials at the Westlands Container Collection Center, praising the coordination between the security agencies and officials at the Council and Ministry of Education in preventing cheating cases. The Council says no serious case has been reported so far.
I must say and applaud the center managers and the multi-agency team, because in ordinary this year or this particular exam, they have done a brilliant job. And where there has been those cases, especially of the phones, you remember last week on Friday, we had some students in Dadaab who were found with phones. The invigilators and supervisors have now upped their game, and they are doing a very good job in frisking, and therefore we are moving on pretty well.
In certain areas, candidates have reportedly been denied access to exam rooms, with the council sending a stern warning to school heads who are demanding fees from candidates.
So there is no child in this country should be denied the opportunity to sit for the exams, least of all on matters to do with money. The government has already paid for all the examination administration fees, and there is no child who should be asked to pay any money, whether it is in the name of lunches or any other facilitation.
The council has also put up measures to ensure pregnant candidates sit for the exams in the friendliest of environments. A number of counties in the country have reported a high number of early pregnancies, including Kajiado, that has over 250 pregnant girls sitting for the examinations.
When they are expectant, we usually even take the exams to the hospital, even the prisoners, we administer the exams where they are.
Also, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Belio Kipsang, supervised examination in Mombasa, where he hinted at a possibility of doing away with boarding schools. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, still on matters education and education PS, Belio Kipsang has said that boarding schools and categorization of secondary schools may be phased out in the future as the implementation of the competency-based curriculum takes shape. The government says it has begun putting in place measures that will ensure there is a smooth transition of grade 6 learners to grade 7 who will attend junior high school domiciled in primary schools.
So here,
a few days after the government gave a directive of domiciling grade 7, 8 and 9 in primary schools, it has embarked on the next plan, that of ensuring there is a smooth transition of grade 7 learners next year without hiccups. One of the issues the government is currently working on is infrastructure. And as Education PS says, some schools will have to share their resources with other schools.
My officers at the ministry have informed me that almost 50% of your schools have produced a secondary school. And therefore, it will make it easy for us to share facilities. And such facilities would include our human resource. But the most critical facility is that we shall be socializing our children to basic science. And therefore, we shall require to share some of our laboratories.
The changes presently happening in the education sector as the competency-based curriculum continues to take shape may result to scraping off of boarding schools and categorization of secondary schools.
And the first 9 years of our learning between grade 1 and grade 9, the direction that government will be taking is day schooling.
Meanwhile, owners of private schools have recommendations on the implementation of the CBC, especially after grades 7, 8 and 9 were domiciled in primary schools.
Kama tu vile imesemekana junior secondary iwe domiciled katika primary school, hata katika the private schools iwe the same way. Ili kuwe na usawa, kusiwe na watoto wa kubaguliwa.
Recently, the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms presented its recommendations to President William Ruto, who gave a directive that grade 7 class will be domiciled in primary school. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Moving on, Meru County MCAs have once again tabled an impeachment motion against Governor Kawira Mwangaza. While tabling the motion on Tuesday, Meru County Assembly Minority Whip Dennis Kiogora said the MCAs will prosecute the motion within 7 days, where public members will also be allowed to participate. Governor Mwangaza is accused of nepotism, illegal appointments, and unlawful dismissals.
Discreditable acts that severally and collectively amount to gross violation of the Constitution, gross violation of various national and county laws, gross abuse of various laws, abuse of office, and gross misconduct. The discreditable acts have exposed the office of the governor, the assembly, and the leadership of the people of Meru County, and its leadership in the Meru County to national shame, embarrassment, ridicule, and disrepute.
We were tabling the motion today. It is because we have a dictatorial government that is not even allowing us to oversight, because it is our role and it is our duty to oversight.
What we are going to do is possibly move to court to forestall further steps, because we believe the court spoke and made a determination on the issue. However new the motion is fashioned, it remains to be a motion for impeachment, and the High Court has already stopped that process from taking place. So I believe the County Assembly is quite not in order in proceeding with such a motion against a clear court order.
Elsewhere, the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Broadcast and Telecommunications, Professor Edward Kisiang'ani, has assured a smooth relationship between the media and the government for better service delivery to Kenyans. Sylvia Nyongesa with a roundup of Principal Secretaries who took charge of their dockets today.
This way.
In his maiden speech while taking over from Esther Koimet, Professor Edward Kisiang'ani also expressed concern with how media practitioners are victimized, promising to ensure implementation of legislation protecting media personnel, as well as creating an enabling environment for media to operate freely. Other principal secretaries who took over today include Dr. Chris Kipto, who is the new PS for Treasury, and James Muhati in the Department of Economic Planning. The two promising to eliminate waste in expenditure, increase tax compliance, and manage debt to achieve President William Ruto's directive of doubling the country's revenue.
I will use the opportunity in National Treasury to unlock climate finance. I think there is a lot in that area. We have been given targets to double revenue. We will be focusing around expanding the tax base and also increasing compliance.
Together with my colleagues, that we are committed to be able to deliver on the promise to the Kenyans.
This even as the Ministry of Treasury announced plans to embrace digital revolution to develop market interventions similar to the Hustler Fund to hasten economic recovery post-COVID-19 and the unprecedented harsh economic times.
Star 254 hash on your phone, isn't it? That is where the world is going. Okay? In my phone I had so many proposals about how to manage the Hustler Fund. I had so many people calling me to tell so that they can form a committee how to manage Hustler Fund. And in the end, it is star 254 hash and your phone, isn't it?
Outgoing Economic Planning CS Torome Saitoti called on the government to implement all plans and strategies put in place to achieve an economic revolution. Sylvia Nyongesa, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, a day after the Employment and Labour Relations Court disallowed Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika's choice of nominees, some members of the County Assembly of Nakuru have come out in defense of the governor, saying those opposing and fighting the governor's choice of nominees have no intention of a working county and are rather hell-bent on frustrating the governor. They, however, regretted that the county government has been held hostage by the said persons, which now leaves the electorate suffering as no meaningful business can be transacted.
Of the appointments that she made, and we will go back and try to follow what the courts have said, but just know that as an assembly we are united.
Tunasema kwamba tuko nyuma ya governor, tumekubaliana tutafanya na governor kazi, na tunaomba wale ambao wako na kesi kotini, jameni, hata ile nyingine ambayo bado iko ya CEOs, waturuhusu jameni tufanyie wananchi kazi. Wananchi wanateseka.
I know the main bone of contention is issues of trying to balance. There is no way we can balance Nakuru in terms of the 43 tribes. It is not possible. How do we balance the 10 positions into the 43 tribes that are there?
Sisi tunasema ya kwamba wale si ambao watachaguliwa na governor, tunataka professionals. Tunataka watu ambao wana integrity, hao ndio tunataka. Tutaki mambo ya ukabila. Hawe ni kabila gani ama kabila hili. Bora ni mtu ambaye anaweza tekeleza kazi, hiyo ndio mtu ambaye tunataka katika kaunti yetu ya Nakuru.
Miezi 3 imeisha na kazi haiendelei. Ambao wanaumia ni wenye walituchagua. Mama anatembea kilomita 5 kutafuta maji ya kunywa. Barabara ni mbovu, mahospitali iko chini.
Tunauliza watu wa Nakuru. Sisi ni wapenda amani. Hakuna mtu ameandikwa kabila hapa. Barabara yako haiharibiki kwa sababu ya kabila. Hospitali yako haina dawa kwa sababu ya kabila. Na ndipo tunasema ya kwamba sisi hatutaki kuangalia makabila, tunataka kuangalia yule mtu anaweza perform.
time is here and it's a time to give. And even as we create awareness on the HIV virus during this festive season, it's important that we remember all the medical practitioners who have contributed into giving them good health and also sustainability. And of course, this day we will be handing them these beautiful roses. This is to say thank you for the care you're giving to our family. Yeah. Karibu. Here you go. And from Body Garage, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Sisi ndio tunabeba swag hadi ndani ya pitch. Sisi ndio the fastest, the biggest, the strongest. They wonder why. Time waliland kucheza ball na Nati, sisi tulikuwa mguu chuma. Ball ni sisi na sisi ni ball. It has always been a part of us. We are passionate, so loud, they had to tell us to keep it down. Na sasa, it's that time again. The time for us to step up. Tuwakumbushe why Waafrika wana shine kwa ligi za majuu. So if you love football, love Africa. Cheer Africa. Africa ni sisi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is another beautiful season. Of course, a season of celebration, a season of just coming together, joining together, a season of smiles, a season of chapatis and cuckoos and popcorns and sodas in crates, a season of pictures that you'll never use, a season of looking at your cousins who you've never seen before apart from WhatsApp groups. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a time to celebrate a beautiful event that took place many years ago, the birth of Jesus Christ.
It's Christmas, mwezi wa sherehe, time to celebrate with your friends, with your family, traveling all over, and we're here to wish you
a Merry Christmas, of course, from Dr. Funeke tonight. The eagle himself, the Duke of Kakamega, Dr. Funeke is my name.
And not your ordinary DJ listening.
And of course, what we say is, have a Merry
Christmas. And a Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year. And of course, just to give you a Nigerian proverb that says, when you buy chicken, please remember to buy tissue paper as well. Merry Christmas once again.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with me in studio.